Welcome to episode 7 of the U.S. Essential Business Podcast. In this episode, we'll be talking to Mr. Alan Martens. Now, Alan is the president and owner of Majestic Beds. Alan has a background in the medical community, so how did he get into beds? And what are they doing now to address the need that we find ourselves in with COVID-19 working its way across the United States? Well, we're going to talk to Alan to see what he's done, how quickly they were able to ramp up to do what they're doing, and some other insights that he has to share about his business. So sit back and please enjoy the next 16, 17 minutes as we talk with Alan Martens. With us today on U.S. Essential Business, we have Mr. Alan Martens. Now, Alan Martens is the owner, president, chief designer of Majestic Beds. Alan, how did you start out in the bedding industry? Because that's not your background per se, right?
No, it's not. It started 26 years ago when I owned a company called MedMarco. MedMarco was a home healthcare company. We specialized with closed-door pharmacies for compounding drugs to hospitals, particularly chemotherapy, AIDS treatments, antibiotics, and tube feedings. We did oxygen, the tube feedings, and as well as specialty home medical equipment to help people recover in the home. And the foam actually came that we used in our first toppers was because we were getting so many requests from both doctors and patients wanting to know what they could sleep on because of the side effects of chemotherapy was joint pain and night sweats. And there wasn't anything out there. So we developed a secondary foam, or I should say a second generation foam, that did not require body heat to mold. We used wool encased in cotton to absorb the body sweats, and it just relieved all the joint issues. The company was acquired, and the one division that they had no interest in was my foam. And I was the president at the time, and they said, you can keep the foam, do whatever you want with it. And so for 26 years, I've been evolving, designing new beds, and after toppers, we got into mattresses that were symptom specific. There were studies done about 15, 18 years ago that determined exactly based on certain symptoms, how the mattress layers should be designed along with the densities. We followed those studies. They were correct. And then we have evolved from there. At the present time, we now have 3 patented layers. The top layer, our Ergogel, is used in medical applications for even transplant patients in recovery apartments and used as a pad in long-term surgeries. So great pressure relieving properties in this. Our patients that are suffering from cancer and chemotherapy, this is a go-to product. And it's on our website, in which some of them are making testimonials about how it was the only comfortable place where they just didn't hurt. They could go and rest through a day where they were in constant pain during the ill effects of the chemotherapy.
Well, I love the fact you had a medical background, so you knew what you were doing when you started to get into helping individuals, especially cancer patients, amputees, trying to make these individuals more comfortable. So not only is it admirable, you're filling an important, very important market. Now, obviously, our podcast is essential business, right? How has COVID-19 affected the way that you're personally conducting your business there at Majestic?
When this first came about, and we got the word from the Michigan governor that retail businesses should be shutting down except for essential operations, I was talking with my partner in the store, and he's a manufacturer that makes my specialty beds about 5 miles from me. And he was showing me that he was looking at doing some masks and offering those. My suggestion, based on my background, was to look into shields. And with the face shields, because he had a water jet cutter that could cut anything from cloth to steel. And 3 days later, we had made our first shield. Looked a lot like what we used in our pharmacies. And we made a couple of basically modifications to it, and we started presenting it in the market. The biggest problem we ran into was plastic, foams, everything was starting to dry up. It was becoming hard to get. We had a large contract with a hospital. They wanted disposable, and we brought in some vinyl from Chicago. It's supposed to be distortion-free. It wasn't. And so we elected to go back to a PEG type plastic that was thicker than the disposable ones and basically offer them as reusable. You could easily spray it with an alcohol or use a cavi wipe and reuse these over and over and over again for the supplies. Now, most hospitals, first responders, they're going to use it one time and basically throw it away. But in the case of these things, and this will give you an idea of what they look like, is that they don't, they mold very well to the face and they don't fog up and you can protect someone. Now, as we ended up with a number of contracts with first responders, we gave incredible pricing. In a lot of cases, for every 3 you bought, you got 1 free, and we were selling them at the rates of disposable and have continued to do that. So we were there to help. And that was what our company's always been about. We've now discovered that there is nothing in the marketplace for the dentist. All of the traditional dentist supply houses don't have plastic for the shields. And they're now bringing in, importing from China, which are these very thin that, are very questionable. And so we've now made one that also will handle their magnifying loops inside the shield and a place to put their lights for doing close-up work in the mouth. So they were kind of surprised, but we introduced it last week and twice we sold out in a matter of hours. And again, it was because of the pricing. The best comment I get is, wait a minute, that's it? I go, that's the price. And we're capable right now of making up to 5,000 a week of those. So depending on what the demand is, as long as it goes, we also can handle first responders that need our help. Nurses that can't get shields are calling us and coming up and picking up their own. And that's the sad part is, particularly in the small hospitals, they're running out of money. Even the big hospitals are cash strapped. And so we do get donations. And as soon as we get donations in, we're giving them away or giving them at deep, deep discounts to stretch it out.
If someone wants to donate, Alan, how you have a GoFundMe page, or how would someone donate if they wanted to contribute to your cause here?
We're not doing a GoFundMe page, but they can contact us at the website, which is majesticbed.com, or they can email me at Alan Martens at Majestic Bed, and we can tell them a little bit more. We're also, frankly, working on a grant to do exactly this, is to be able to continue to donate, and it'll be in several parts. One will be for the virus, which this is going to be around a long time. So for a lot of people, we tell them, if everybody's in a mask, you're good. If you're not in a mask, then you really should be wearing a shield, particularly if you are susceptible with certain symptoms to this virus. And that's the reason we now are turning our attention more to shields to general population. On our website is starting from January to today, we've donated over $50,000 in beds to different people with serious symptoms. One of them is with Make-A-Wish, in which I designed a mattress for children called our Embrace for critical illnesses and deformities, physical deformities. And it relieves the pain in a wide range of issues. And these are the kids that are susceptible to these kinds of issues. So what we're doing is that in our grant program, they're also concentrating on the virus. And then we concentrate on the people that have symptoms that could be in particular vulnerable to this virus. From January to today, we have almost 1 million followers, which is unheard of for a website that we brought up to start working with this.
Yeah, I saw on your website, you had a little link there to Make-A-Wish. So I was going to ask you about that. It just seems it's part of the culture of your company is to help people. You're designing beds for people that need medical help, that can't get comfortable. Now you got the Make-A-Wish thing, and you've jumped right into the mask for the first responders. So in my line of work, we're having a hard time getting disinfectants and sanitizers. And what we're able to find, the prices are just jacked up because supply and demand, right? But you
Oh,
guys seem like your culture is like, hey, we're all about helping. The money's going to come no matter what. We're not worried about the money. Let's just take care of the people that need it. So
yes.
I really commend you for that. How long did it take you to retool once you said, all right, we're going to do the mask? Because here you're making beds, and all of a sudden you're shipping masks all over the world, or at least all over the United States.
Well, for us to get up, it took us less than 10 days.
Hmm.
And we were geared up because we have good production. We have made 750,000 foam pieces to other companies that couldn't get the foam pieces for the shields, and have shipped those out at incredibly good prices, to the point where they could manufacture their shields for $1.50. So we're not price gouging even other companies that are probably could be, quote, in normal competitive markets, they'd be our competition.
Right.
We don't care. It's about getting it out and having it there for everybody. So not only our shields that we're making components for other companies. And there was a story about us in which they just saw bag after bag after bag. And I was the one that go, here's 49,000 going out today to other companies. And there's been as many as, like I said, 250,000 a week that Foam and More, who's my partner, and Ross, who's the owner, he just does an incredible job. I mean, he's in all the way. When we're working with these children for mattresses, cancer patients, amputees that we've done a number of things for, we're sending a mattress out this week to a quadriplegic. He needs it.
Mm-hmm.
He has to have it. And another one went to a cerebral palsy child in Brooklyn, New York. They're going out because they have to have it. We just go, we can't do white glove deliveries, but we can get it to your curb. Those were all donations that, even though we're not selling beds right now, per se, we're still doing what we can.
Could you repeat the number of masks you're making a week? I don't know if I heard that right or if it really sunk in.
Oh, for the face shields, we can make up to 5,000 a week in one shift for, say, dental right now, and still be able to do up to another 5,000, for first responders.
That's
so
amazing.
As the market shifts for needs, we're able to make shifts and redesign and retool.
Now, it's funny you mentioned dentists, because today at 10 o'clock, I was supposed to have my 6-month cleaning, right? And they called me last week, which I wasn't planning on going in, because I understand the whole severity of this COVID. But for you to be able to make the mask for that. Now, do you sell them locally to local dentists or healthcare facilities and things like that? If they can't find shields through the regular route, can they reach out, or can they walk into your place of business and purchase what they need?
We just ask that they reach out to us first and
Okay.
call us. When we put this out last Wednesday, we had orders from New York, South Carolina, Florida. It spread like wildfire that this company that nobody heard of had shields. And then the people that picked them up were going, wait a minute, this is some of the best we've ever seen. And so, we take a lot of pride in how we put things together. All of our shields are based on designs that were made by the University of Wisconsin for the healthcare side. Mm-hmm. And we follow a lot of that format. We found a better way of fastening them than they had, particularly for being reusable. And so that's what we've been doing.
Good for you. I also understand, and I don't know if they've been filled since I first heard about it, but you guys were looking for help. You had the help wanted sign out, which is pretty encouraging when you look around and you see how many people, through no fault of their own, are looking for work today. Are you still looking for skilled trades of any kind?
Generally, well, we put the word out that we were looking for more seamstresses because we didn't have enough. Mm-hmm. And part of it, we call it our band of angels. We had a group of Christian women that came to us, and they said, we don't want to get paid. We just want to help.
Nice. And
God love them, they were doing as much as $1,500 a day for us in shields, putting them together. And they keep coming back going, okay, we have 3 more people for you. And so others I have brought on, and the question was always, if you need money for food and like that, I have doled out cash. For the others, I just pay them cash so that they can meet their necessities. Mm-hmm. And so that's how we've been operating. Nobody's going to get rich off of doing this, but a really good seamstress can make $50 to $100 a day based on their output. And that puts food on the table, makes their car payment. That's all great. We'll do that part.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, as far as making the shields, whether it be for dentists, which is a different shield than you're doing for nurses, might be different for your first responders. Do you think these are going to be permanent changes to your product line in addition to beds, or do you see this as a temporary until we get through or past this, however long that might take?
I think that this is going to end up being something that is probably with this virus this fall for the foreseeable future, maybe for a year, we'll be in it and then we'll see if we're needed.
Mhm.
If we're not needed, we've got plenty of work to do on the other side because we have both our mattresses, we have toppers that go on mattresses for cancer patients. We have pillows that are used for CPAP that I've designed and also are used for any kind of cervical injury or recovering from a surgery, any kind of neck issues. These pillows have been just incredible as far as the results. And I've sold pillows for 26 years. This last 5 years with these designs have just been the best we've ever put out. And we get great results with those.
I guess one last question, and if you want to say anything to close it out, it's up to you. You're more than welcome to. But your team of workers in the back, what adjustments have you had to make from the way that business used to be done versus now with social distancing? I'm guessing because I can tell from your passion about taking care of people that you've made some special efforts back there to make sure your workers are safe.
Yeah, we definitely keep them separated. The sanitation practices we use is completely different than what was before. We're setting up a clean room for the mattresses that go way beyond how we were handling them before. And if you look at some of the pictures on our website, it looks pretty state of the art to begin with, and we're taking it to another level.
People like yourselves and companies that are willing to make the adjustments and maybe even change their whole business model and add things to their line, they're going to come out of this above and beyond what they went into it with. So really appreciate you. And I think, again, going back to your culture, looking after how to take care of people, make them comfortable, whether it be cancer patients, people that have had severe operations, quadriplegics, like you mentioned, all of those things. It makes sense that you would dive into helping our first responders out there. And we really appreciate companies like you and yourself that have taken this serious and understand the opportunity that's presented for you. And it's not about the money, it's about the people. And really, really, really greatly thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank
Talking to
you,
you.
Alan. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
one.
You too. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My contact information will be below in the show notes. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button below if you want to make sure that you're catching all of these episodes as they've come out. We'll also include the contact information to Alan if you care to reach out to him or donate to the cause of helping with first responders and our medical community. So, if you have an idea for this podcast or you feel you have an interesting story to tell, please don't hesitate to reach out to me and we'll have a conversation. So, we thank you all for your time and your attention. And please be safe, be careful, and yes, please be kind.